Are they interesting? Yes. Will they actually happen? Probably not. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 most insane Avengers Endgame theories. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at theories for Avengers Endgame that are so crazy, they might just be spot on. Okay, probably not, but some of these theories are simply too outlandish, bizarre, and in some cases hilarious to ignore. Number 10, the snapped universe.
So nice to finally meet you, Spider-Man.
You're Nick Fury.
Seeing how both Peter Parker and Nick Fury appeared in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, it's safe to assume that at least a few heroes Thanos snapped out of existence will return. That being said, the fallen heroes won't necessarily be resurrected or brought back through time travel. While some have argued that the people who disintegrated are in a pocket universe known as the Soul World, another theory suggests that they were sent to an alternate dimension. With Endgame bringing the Infinity Saga to a close, Phase 4 may pick up in this new universe with the focus shifting to the snapped heroes. Meanwhile, Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, and all the other Avengers who survived the snap will remain in a separate dimension.
Oh God.
Number 9. Enter Death.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
In Infinity War, Thanos claims that he wants to wipe out half of all life in order to bring balance to an overpopulated universe. Based on the source material, however, Thanos may have an ulterior motive. The reason Thanos seeks out the Infinity Gems in the comics is it's a little weirder. Thanos tracks down the Infinity Gems in order to win the affection of Death. As her name suggests, this cloaked skeleton is Death incarnate, as well as Thanos' dream girl. According to a Vulture interview, the Infinity War filmmakers decided to omit Death due to the increasingly large cast and to keep the focus on Thanos' father-daughter relationship with Gamora. With so much blood on Thanos' Gauntlet, though, we wouldn't be surprised if Death made her debut in Endgame.
To challenge them is to court death.
Number 8. Dormammu strikes back. Bargain, die, repeat. That's essentially how Doctor Strange thwarted Dormammu, placing them both in a time loop that wouldn't break until the villain left Earth alone. Dormammu thus retreated to the Dark Dimension and has honored his promise so far.
There was no other way.
Of course, now that Doctor Strange is out of the picture, what's keeping the evil entity at bay? Without a Sorcerer Supreme, he may finish what he started and annihilate the world. Endgame won't necessarily be restricted to one antagonist, and Dormammu would definitely raise the threat level. In the event that he rears his purple head again, the only one who might stand a chance against him is Thanos and his Infinity Gauntlet. Talk about a clash of mad titans.
Take your zealots from the Earth. End your assault on my world. Never come back. Do it, and I'll break the loop.
Number 7. Clint Barton is a Skrull.
Would you like to know what you really are?
Although Captain Marvel marked the Skrull's silver screen debut, the film did little to set up the Secret Invasion story arc from the comics. For all we know, though, some Skrulls may have stayed on Earth and could have been hiding in plain sight all these years. In the Endgame trailer, Clint Barton resurfaces, trading in the Hawkeye suit for his Ronin costume. Many fans have theorized that Clint lost his family in the snap, causing him to take on a new persona. A much wilder theory suggests that Hawkeye was actually a Skrull in disguise this whole time, and Ronin is the real Clint Barton. It's pretty far-fetched, especially since the Skrulls ended up being good guys in Captain Marvel, but it would definitely be an interesting twist.
None of this makes sense.
Number 6. Loki's not quite dead yet. Of all the characters in the MCU, Loki is arguably the hardest to kill. Not because of his powers per se, but because of his sneaky nature. The God of Mischief managed to cheat death not just once, but twice. On one hand, it's hard to imagine Loki bouncing back after Thanos choked the life out of him in Infinity War. What's more, this line of dialogue sounds rather conclusive.
No resurrections this time.
On the other hand, this is Loki we're talking about. Whether he faked his death or is revived somehow, we have a hard time accepting that this is the final nail in the coffin. After all, actor Tom Hiddleston is set to reprise his role in a Disney Plus series, although that could be a prequel.
Hey, I can't believe you're alive. I saw you die. I mourned you, I cried for you.
I'm honored.
Number 5. Redemption for Thanos.
Did you do it?
Yes.
did it cost?
Everything.
Tying back into one of our previous theories, if Dormammu or an equally powerful foe emerges with the intent of conquering the universe, we may see an unexpected team-up between the Avengers and Thanos. Even if this isn't the angle that the filmmakers take, we could still see Thanos redeem himself by the conclusion of Endgame. Although Thanos succeeded in wiping out half of all life, he had to sacrifice what he loved most in the process. Being such a complex villain, we doubt that Thanos will be able to brush off Gamora's death. His encounter with his young adoptive daughter after the snap seemed to unearth some deep-seated guilt. If grief eats away at Thanos' soul, he may have a change of heart.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Number 4. Nebula takes the gauntlet.
You can stay with us and help them.
I will help them by killing Thanos.
An alliance between the Avengers and Thanos might sound unlikely at this point, but we wouldn't be shocked if they found a common enemy in Nebula. In the comics, Nebula manages to pry the Infinity Gauntlet away from Thanos and rises up as the new big bad. This leaves Thanos with no choice but to join forces with Thor, the Hulk, and several others. The MCU's version of Nebula may be on a different trajectory, however. Although she was a full-fledged villain in Guardians of the Galaxy, Nebula eventually reconciled with her adoptive sister and has seemingly been on a more virtuous path ever since. Whether Nebula returns to her devious ways or not, it'd be highly satisfying if she's the one who finishes Thanos off.
Well.
You should have killed me.
Would have been a waste of parts.
Number 3. Tony Stark loses his arm. In the first Iron Man, Tony's left arm wound up in a sling after he escaped from the Ten Rings hideout. Whiplash wrapped his electrified whip around Tony's arm in Iron Man 2, and the Hulkbuster's mechanical arm took a blow in Age of Ultron.
Veronica, give me a hand.
In Captain America Civil War, Tony not only mentions his injury, but his arm is put back in a sling following the airport fight and gets hurt again during the climax. Even in Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony is frequently seen tending to his left wrist. It's been speculated that this is all building up to Tony either losing his arm in Endgame, or that his arm will become intertwined with an Infinity Gauntlet of his own. Talk about long game foreshadowing. Number 2, Fantastic Four or X-Men teased.
What is this place?
From the very beginning, fans have been eager to see the Fantastic Four and X-Men cross paths with the Avengers. Since the film rights for both franchises were under the Fox umbrella, that seemed to be out of question. Of course, when Disney acquired Marvel Entertainment in 2009, we never would have imagined that they'd also acquire 21st Century Fox only 10 years later. Since the Fox/Disney merger officially went through a mere month before the release of Endgame, it's unlikely the Fantastic Four or X-Men will play a significant role. At the very least, though, we could get an Easter egg teasing their arrival in future movies. Perhaps the post-credits will even include a cameo from Wolverine, Reed Richards, or maybe Deadpool? Please?
Zip it, Thanos, we have a deal.
Number 1. The Thanus Theory.
Marvel saw the post about how Ant-Man could defeat Thanos by crawling into his ass and instantly growing in size, and that's why they didn't put him in the movie.
It's so crazy, it might just work. Since Thanos has held his own against almost every MCU hero, you wouldn't think Ant-Man would pose much of a threat. An especially bizarre theory, however, has pointed out how Scott Lang might defeat Thanos. In short, Ant-Man is going to shrink down, crawl up Thanos' butt, and expand in size, destroying the Mad Titan from the inside.
Who's Scott?
Ant-Man.
There's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man?
As laughable as that sounds, the theory is spread like wildfire throughout the internet, inspiring a scientific explanation and countless memes. Actor Paul Rudd even responded to the theory, and although he didn't confirm anything, he didn't write it off either. Josh Brolin also addressed the theory while on the toilet. This theory might not be the most practical, but it's without a doubt the most insane.
65 feet.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huge.
65.
If you two are finished comparing sizes,
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.